My other co-host today is a fabulous, famous Gregory Sneed. Uh, we thank you all for coming on board. We have a special guest who will be joining us momentarily. But in the meantime, I'd like to, Greg, can you tell a bit about your firm, what you're doing? And then we're going to have a special announcement from Miss Pinilla. Gregory?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Gregory Sneed, and I have been in financial services for almost 41 years now, 40 plus years. And I've done a lot of things, CPA, financial executive within the motion picture industry, television. Started my own business selling boats and yachts, and now I'm in financial planning and just launched a new business doing financial coaching, helping people get organized with their money, see their money visually in the dashboard, reduce debt, and set up a date for them to be financially free or attain financial freedom. I will post some information in the chat box if that is something you would like to explore. And I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. You'll hear my New York accent pop out every now and then. And I'm a resident of the city of Inglewood.
Right. Thank you, Gregory. And again, the mission of the community briefing, as created by Crystal Mitchell, is to empower, inspire, and to inform the small business community of what they need to do, not only to survive, but to thrive. There's a lot of moving parts taking place today, and we're fortunate to have a brief comment from the small majority on some of the different programs available for small business. With that, I'd like to introduce Miss Pinilla.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So good to see all of you. Hi, Colette. Well, thank you so much for having me on today. My name is Latavia Pineda. I am the Southern California Outreach Manager for Small Business Majority. For those of you who don't know, we're a national education and advocacy nonprofit that focuses on not only advocating for you all as business owners at both the state and national level, but also providing resources to small business owners. So kind of think of us as helping to uplift the voice of small business owners, and then also kind of as a resource hub. We have lots of great information to share, so I'd be happy to connect with any of you about your needs as business owners. Really excited to talk today about some updates to the California Relief Grant. So as some of you know, a few months back, Governor Newsom allocated $500 million to a new program called the California Relief Grant that is being administrated by Lendistry. It's a community development financial institution that works at the national level, hosts a ton of huge programs like this. And although $500 million is a lot of money, it went out the door super fast. As I'm sure you all can imagine, the need far exceeds kind of the actual pot of money. But fortunately, another $2 billion has been added to this program. And those funds are starting to go out the door already. So we know that a good chunk of people have been selected so there were two rounds for the $500 million. And a lot of people still ended up waitlisted. $500 million was not enough to go around. So folks who were waitlisted from rounds 1 and 2 were taken into round 3 in kind of a closed round. And funds were allocated to those folks who were waitlisted. And then beginning March 25th, the application will reopen and we'll start accepting new applications. So this grant is really neat because the application is pretty straightforward. There's no essays you have to write, kind of just provide some information about your business, the business demographics, as well as your income. And from there, you upload some documents, and that's kind of the extent of the application. And businesses are eligible from $5,000, $15,000, and $25,000. The revenue cap on this program is $2.5 million, and the minimum revenue requirement is $1,000. So assuming you are a sole proprietor, an S Corp, an LLC, really any type of business with at least $1,000 in revenue, you would be eligible to apply beginning on March 25th. That is technically round 5 of the program, which is open from March 25th through March 31st. And during that time, you'll go to careliefgrant.com, answer those questions on the application. You'll apply through a partner, which is kind of confusing, but we're hosting tons and tons of webinars on this program beginning Monday, actually, about actually how to apply and what the application process looks like. So don't be scared. You're not alone. I know that a lot of people have never even considered applying for a grant or a loan or anything. So these times can be kind of confusing, but we are here to help. And of course, so is Colette and her amazing team at PCR. And ultimately, this is a really great tool that I encourage everyone to apply for, assuming you are within the eligibility criteria, which includes, having been formed by, I believe, June of 2019, having those revenue, fitting into those revenue requirements. There are some ineligible industries, so I highly encourage you to check out careliefgrant.com just to double check that you would qualify if you haven't already applied, and then mark your calendar for that March 25th through March 31st deadline. I think it's going to be about $500 million will be allocated during round 5. So that's a lot of money going out. So highly encourage you to get in there. And then if you apply during round 5, you'll be considered during round 5 and round 6. So you increase your chances of getting a grant. And if you previously applied and still have not received a grant, you will be rolled over into round 5 and round 6 if you are not selected in round 5. Now, of course, $2.5 billion is still a lot of money, but it's not enough to meet the needs of every small business. So please keep that in mind and keep looking for other resources, whether that's a low interest loan or grants from maybe your county, your local municipality, or other philanthropic sources that are looking to help small businesses. I won't tell you that it's easy to get capital for your business, because it's not, but it's definitely something that's worth looking into and seeking assistance if you need it, because I know these times are hard, but there is a great support network, especially in LA, to help business owners who may be struggling right now, because these are hard times. So I'll put my info in the chat. You guys can feel free to reach out anytime with questions about the grant or anything else. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Gregory?
Got to remember to come off mute. And our guest is here, so please allow me a couple of moments to introduce her, and then she'll be joining us to speak. Danetta Jackson is the Business Outreach Program Manager for the State of California Department of General Services, and that falls within the Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. Her office assists small and disabled veteran businesses with certification on how to navigate the state's procurement process. Danetta is responsible for ensuring that at least 25% of the state's $8 to $10 billion in contracting opportunities go to small and disabled businesses, veteran businesses. As a member of the State Minority Small Business Procurement Task Force, Danetta forms strategic alliances with community and government leaders. Her focus is on increasing the state's pool of qualified minority small businesses to ensure these businesses are included in that 25% contracting annual performance goal. So please join me in welcoming Danetta Jackson to the community briefing.
Thank you, Gregory. And thank you, Stephen, for the invitation. I'm honored to be here today. As Gregory mentioned, I am the Business Outreach Program Manager representing the State of California Department of General Services. And today I will be sharing with you important information about opportunities. It will be a high-level briefing about the department and my role as an advocate for businesses. And as questions come up, please place them in the chat and I will answer them during the Q&A period.
For the safety, comfort, and well-being of our guests and team members, please remember to wear.
I hear some background info. Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, here we go. So DGS, the Department of General Services, serves as
Danetta, you muted yourself.
All right, there you go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So DGS serves as the business manager for the state of California. We have more than 3,500 employees and a budget in excess of $1 billion. DGS helps California state government better serve the public by providing a variety of services to nearly 200 state departments and agencies through innovative procurement and acquisition solutions, creative real estate management and design, environmentally friendly transportation, funding for the construction of safe schools, and much more. DGS is the lead agency in promoting small business and disabled veteran business enterprise participation in state contracting. So throughout the briefing, I will be referring to Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, but as DVBE, just so you know. My office, the Office of Small Business and DVBE Services, is the certification program for these types of businesses. We have dedicated certification and outreach staff who work year-round to help diverse small businesses become certified with DGS so they can compete for contracts to do business with state government. And this effort creates a pool of businesses with which state buyers can contract with. As the Business Outreach Program Manager and member of the Minority-Owned Small Business Procurement Task Force, I am personally committed to evaluating the effectiveness of existing programs and identifying ways to improve the state's procurement process. So we work diligently to eliminate barriers that prevent diverse small businesses from competing with large companies. We know that the economic impact of COVID-19 has been unprecedented for everyone across the world, and California diverse small businesses before the pandemic employed nearly half of all Californians. The consequences of the pandemic have been particularly severe for underbanked and underserved communities that have suffered historically from lack of access to affordable capital. Those traditionally underserved minority, immigrant, and female business owners have shut down at disproportionate levels in this downturn. So I'd like to share a little bit with you about what they're doing at the governor's office. So in April of 2020, the governor launched a task force to tackle business and job recovery. And this tactic leveraged input from a diverse group of more than 100 leaders from business, unions, academia, philanthropy, advocates for racial and economic justice, and legislative leaders. And amongst the initiatives impacting small businesses, task force members spearheaded the California Rebuilding Fund. And this is a new public-private partnership to increase access to capital and support to the smallest businesses in underbanked communities across California. Task force members also prioritized an equitable recovery, focusing on strengthening diverse and California-based suppliers through a new initiative that just launched this year, Source Diverse, Source Local. And this public-private collaboration will strengthen inclusive procurement and build resilient California-based supply chains by elevating California firms for sourcing strategies. The initiative is designed to support local economies, reducing money from leaking out of California by procuring locally and stimulating job creation. And if anyone is interested in seeing that final report, it is on the governor's website dated November 2020. The report also outlines various initiatives the governor has taken and plans to take in rebuilding California. Now at the State Department level, we have set our sights on several goals for 2021. First and foremost, we must increase our database with more diverse businesses, ready and able, fully prepared to do business with the state. Why? Because as Gregory mentioned, the state awards between 8 and 10 billion in contract dollars annually for various goods, services, and public works. We have inclusion goals for these contracting dollars, 25% for small businesses and 3% for disabled veteran business enterprises. This translates to more than $2.5 billion spent statewide with California small businesses and 400 million with DBBEs. So by involving more minority businesses in contracting success means a healthier bottom line for the state. Today, with California as the 5th largest economy globally, there are just over 17,000 small businesses in our database. That is nearly not enough to serve the state's needs, of which only 1,700 are DBBEs. So I welcome and encourage businesses who want to sell their products and services to the state to register in caleprocure.ca.gov. And you don't have to write any of this down. Teresa will go ahead and drop the links in the chat for your convenience. CaliProcure is the California state's marketplace and online portal for businesses. It is our one-stop shop for registration, certification, and contracting opportunities, and there is no cost to the user. Businesses can and should prepare to do business with the state by also using free available resources that are available to you. And this is where I would like to pause and get ready to share a 3-minute video with you where many businesses took a downturn during COVID. We have a small business in commercial and janitorial who received an emergency contract with the state, and since then has received multi-year contracts with various state departments. Her name is Linnea Willis-Smith. She is the owner of Quality Cleaning Professionals. And Linnea has been able to leverage the resources available to her from our office, as well as resources provided by our external partners, like the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers and the Small Business Development Centers. These are organizations funded by federal and public dollars specifically to help businesses thrive. So at this time, I would like to go ahead and share that video with you.
Is a woman-owned, minority-owned business operating in the state of California, a California company. And we specialize in commercial janitorial and cleaning throughout the state of California for the private industry as well as the government sector. This is Linnea with Quality Cleaning. Hi, Nancy, how are you doing? We've been in business over 8.5 years, and I actually am a licensed attorney. I've been an attorney for over 18 years. At some point about 9 years ago, I learned about this particular industry, and I went ahead and I took classes and training and certifications. I quickly learned that this business is about client management and people management. I have a passion for making my clients happy and making sure that people have good job, good pay, and can provide for their families. I have responded to a lot of invitations for bid in the state of California, also known as IFBs. Over the past 3 years or so, we have responded to over 100 bids, as well as small business quotes. Eventually, I learned the process, learned the different departments and their needs, and they began to reach out to me not only when bids were due, but also if they had an emergency or needed a small business quote for particular needs. If you could make sure that we have the red sanitaire upright for this job and also a couple of backpack vacuums. Got it. The COVID-19 pandemic has been very unfortunate for all of us, and it has changed the cleaning industry in many ways. Prior to COVID-19, Quality Cleaning Professionals already had significant experience in cleaning hospitals. We now use that same standard to clean every facility and treat every facility as if we are cleaning for a virus. We do a lot of cleaning when there is a case of COVID in that particular facility, a lot of deep cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting. And we also do electrostatic spraying or fogging. My advice to small businesses is to go to your local small business development center. Go to your local procurement technical assistance center, which is a PTAC. Those different agencies will help you to get started, give you resources, workshops on how to have the right foundation and the right financial support and everything else that you need to have a successful business.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So I have just a few more items to go over, but
Okay.
Linnea is certainly an inspiration to us. And I use that story because it doesn't matter what business sector a person is in. It can be IT, training, staffing, services. The state buys almost everything you can think of. And so we want our diverse small businesses to get some of this contracting money. I spoke about getting more diverse businesses registered and certified with the state. Secondly, to integrate supplier diversity into all aspects of our government contracting processes, we must focus on building collaborative partnerships with community organizations at the local, city, county, and private levels. We have strategic partners with organizations, chambers throughout the state. And this work promotes opportunities for underrepresented groups to gain access to public contracting that supports and helps our department to fulfill our program mission. Since COVID, we've established partnerships with 12 new minority business organizations. And through these partnerships, we provide hands-on training and guidance on how to register, get certified, set up your business profile, how to reach out to State Department advocates, steps for finding contract opportunities, and more. And if funding is available, we may even provide sponsorships to organizations to support their efforts in preparing businesses in state contracting. Additionally, the state of California wants businesses to succeed outside of just contracting with the state. We have 70 plus reciprocity partners who honor the state's small business and DVBE or DVBE for their respective programs. And many of these partners include local governments, municipalities, transit districts, school districts, and utility companies. In fact, we just established a new partnership with the California UCs, who will now be accepting the state certification. And they will also be launching their new Small Business First program mirrored after DGS's program, which states that all procurements under 250,000 must first be considered for a small business or DVBE. So that is exciting news. And I'll just go ahead and wrap it up here that we're making a lot of steps towards diversifying our pool. We continue to advocate for all state departments to adopt a small business first policy and utilize our small business procurement option method for goods and services up to 250,000 and for public works up to 333,000. And this strategy, we believe, provides a significant amount of opportunities to our certified firms. We are also translating all our business resources into Spanish to create more access for a broader range of California businesses. And Teresa is my bilingual liaison who has translated many of our videos and resources into Spanish. So as I conclude, we will continue our outreach efforts and partnerships with community organizations and leaders throughout the state to accomplish these goals. So again, thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. And I guess this is time I will now open it up for any questions you may have.
We have one question. We have a couple questions, but first is what resources are available for small businesses to successfully contract with the state of California, and can that resource be posted again in the chat?
Yes, Teresa, if you can go ahead and post the information regarding the small business development centers, as well as the procurement technical assistance centers in the chat, that would be great. DGS has numerous resources as well on our Cal eProcure website. And Teresa will post those links in there. On the website, we have information for upcoming workshops. You can access training videos, resource documents. You can even research the state's past contracting history and get in contact information directly for small business and DVB advocates for the departments who purchase the types of goods and services a business would sell.
Thank you. And for those who are joining in, Teresa worked for the state of California and DGS, and she's a resource. Speaking of resources, we look at your agency. Do you have any vendor preference incentive set aside for small and minority businesses? How can we get our foot in the door?
Well, the state of California does have a 5% preference for small businesses if you're competing against a larger company. We also have what we call is a DVBE incentive. So they're incentive points. When using a DVBE, you also get incentive points if you're subcontracting any work with the DVBE. We don't necessarily have set-asides, but as I mentioned before, we do have our purchasing option specifically for small businesses, and that's the small business DVB option. And we have a handful of state agencies who actually created a first policy around that purchasing method, and it's up to $250,000. Our department is required to get 2 quotes from 2 certified small businesses or 2 certified DVBEs for anything, goods, services, IT goods and services, up to $250,000 and up to $333,000 for public works.
Stephen, I have a question. Denise, thank you so much for this information. And again, I highly recommend people visit the website because there's a host of information there. But one of the critical things that you said is the idea of looking at these historical contracts that have been awarded, so that people, if they're in IT, if they're in staffing, if they're in print, whatever sector that they fall within, they can actually look through your historical contracts and see how that, can you speak to a little bit to that, a little bit more?
Yes, on our website, we have, it's on the Cal eProcure website. We have within the 4 blocks, it says view past procurement information or get public information. It is a state contracting and procurement registration system. So in that system, you can view all past purchases by keywords. Say if you're looking for staffing services, if you plug in staffing services, you can actually pull up all the procurements under that type of service, and it will give you the dollar amount, the buyer, who the contract went to, all that information. And it really helps a business understand who's buying what I sell. You can reverse engineer and kind of just target those specific department advocates when you are seeking to market your business to the state.
So when they're doing the sourcing, when they're looking to identify a supplier, a diverse supplier or DBE, are they using NAICS codes? Talk to us about how when you're looking at these profiles, what are some of the critical points there?
Okay, the type of codes we use are United Nations Standard Product Services codes, UNSPSC codes. So there is a UNSPSC code website. You can look up the codes there, and those are the codes you need to add to your profile when you register to do business with the state. We do have resources. We have training videos on how you can actually add those codes to your profile. And that is a very important element when doing business with the state, because you definitely want to ensure that your profile is robust. Teresa did just drop the website in the chat. And we also assist businesses with their profiles. So once a business gets registered and certified, you can always reach back out and say, hey, I need help getting my profile updated. You can also look at competitor profiles, because that helps you to understand what's missing in my profile.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I mean, how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted California procurement, globally, as well as hone in on the smaller minority community from your point of view?
Well, yes, the future of procurement has definitely changed by all the emergencies, not just COVID-19. Recently, we've had to conduct more emergency procurements than ever before to respond to the recent natural disasters and the current pandemic. And this has truly tested our government procurement processes and revealed contracting opportunity gaps between small and large businesses. Unfortunately, this past fiscal year, many departments struggled to meet their small business and DVB goals due to the emergencies. But the good news is that we are working to support small businesses with government contracting in these areas. We are working on a new emergency registry specifically for certified small businesses and DVBEs. And that is in the works as we speak. And that register will be the first sort of data for state departments to go to find businesses who can actually do the work, perform the work on emergencies.
Gregory?
Sorry about that, to take off mute. What are some of the certifications that the state does accept?
The state has three certifications, small business and disabled veteran business enterprise. And we also have a small business for public works certification. So if anyone is interested in becoming small business certified, you just need to know that you have to be independently owned and operated. You can't be dominant in your field of operation. Your principal office must be located in California, as well as owners, and together with affiliates, be a business with 100 or fewer employees and have average gross annual receipt of 15 million or less over the 3 most recent tax years. Most of our diverse small businesses, or most of our small businesses in our database, I believe like 85% of them are actually micro businesses. And that is a designation of less than 5 million and 25, or the small business is a manufacturer with 25 or fewer employees. The state does not accept other certifications out of the 3 certifications I just mentioned.
Yeah, one of the challenges in working with the government is knowing all the codes and acronyms. You almost need the was it the code breakers or the wind talkers in the military, where they would try to crack the code. So
That is
I mean,
true.
I see the $10 billion. If you think of that as a pie, most of us are just looking to get just a few crumbs in a spoonful, and that can feed us for a year.
Yeah, that is.
What advice would you give to those who are listening in terms of, doing business with the state of California? Any just sort of tips that you can provide?
Well, there are opportunities. I really encourage businesses to seek state contracting, get registered and certified, get to help from our office. I have an awesome team of business outreach liaisons who are ready and available to assist you. Go on the Cali Procure system and look at some of the contracts. It really isn't as difficult as people think it is once you learn the process. Linnea is a testament. She had to do the work, and once she learned the process, she's able to bid on many opportunities because she understands the pricing. She understands not to bid too high or too low. She reviews past purchasing information that helps her it allows her to know what to bid. She also has used the small business development centers, procurement technical assistance centers. So those are key because they're free services. They have offices throughout California to assist businesses nearly in every region throughout the state. And they provide different services to both new and experienced businesses. So I cannot stress that enough to use the small business development centers and PTACs.
Well, this is the last question. And again, during Women History Month, we are so fortunate to have you on the community briefing. What can we do as a community, from the small minority community, from the Black community, support you in your capacity, in your position?
Well, definitely share the information. Bring awareness to the program.
How about write letters to the governor saying you're the greatest?
I think sharing the information is most important. And also, if you have any organization that you're aware of who we can partner with to really assist in supporting their business communities in those targeted underserved areas, that would be essential for us, because we are always looking for underserved businesses that we can support and teach them, because we're there. That's what we're there to assist. We're advocates, and we want them to get a piece of that 25% annual small business goal, if possible. So yeah, share the word and collaboration and partnerships.
Much on behalf of all the Black Business Association, Second Black Dollars, and other contributors for being our special guest today. And I turn it over to Gregory.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I would like to give a special shout out to PCR because last month they assisted me in getting certified with the DGS, and so it made it a breeze. Well, yeah, breeze. It really was. It was really a very good experience, and someone to help guide you through the process. Because again, trying to figure out government regulations and even websites can be a little challenging. So they were a tremendous resource, and and on that note, we're going to hear from Ms. Colette Moore and PCR and the SBDC.
All right, thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. And Janetta, thank you so much for sharing all that information. When I had my business, I know it was tough, and I'm so glad to hear Gregory got some help. That's one of our workshops. It's called Clearing the Fog of Certification. So when Gregory, you mentioned it can be so confusing and overwhelming. So to help somebody kind of walk you through the process, it means a lot. And then to figure out where best to apply your efforts, because you could be all over the place with all the different opportunities, and trying to help people to narrow that down, I think it's really important. So I just had a couple of things to share. I know the small business majority, they shared one of the grants. I always want to go back though to the government funding, the PPP. I know Danetta, you mentioned the California relief grant. We are telling people, let's make sure to get these government grants, this particularly the ones that are ending soon. The PPP closes on the 31st. However, many banks are closing early. So that is the last day for banks to submit, but that is not the last day for you to submit to the bank. So we're saying you need to submit at least 5 days ahead of that, but basically do it now. That is the goal. And then I definitely wanted to share for sole props with all the changes, everything really kind of solidified last week. There are 2 different applications for the sole prop for the first draw and the second draw. So you want to make sure that you can work with one of our advisors. I'll put that into the chat. But there are 2 different applications for the first draw and the second draw. And the new one, depending on what your circumstances are and the time that you maybe already applied. Gregory has had some experience with this actually. It's kind of a catch game, but you will be able to base the amount on the gross amount versus the net amount. That's pretty impressive and it's a big win for the small props that are out there that are able to take care of this like in the last final stretch of this particular grant. So I encourage you guys to apply this. We have the list of the different lenders or types of lenders. I did want to share the PCR. I know Stephen has been asking me, this PCR is doing first draw only right now. So if you need help getting first draw, we do have funding to do first draw applicants right now. So there is money available and our lending team is working to try to process everything to help move things along and make sure everybody is included before the close of the applications. For those of you that have not applied for your forgiveness yet, make sure to take this workshop. We're doing this every Thursday, and then you can also work with the advisors because the whole point of this is, you guys have heard me, the PPP is a loan that with forgiveness turns into a grant. So when everybody says, I need a grant, this is a grant. Just put your application in, work with the advisor to do your forgiveness, and people are getting relinquished of their responsibility like 100%. So if you know what you're doing as you're going into it, we can assist you with that, but get the help on the forgiveness piece. You want the debt erased. And so don't be afraid of it. You can erase it. Make sure you know how to do that as you're applying, and then make sure that it's erased. Then we already heard about the California Relief Grant. There is the round 4. I just wanted to mention that March 16th date for arts and cultural. So you can take a look at that grant, and that's March 16th, only for arts and cultural related businesses though. Then there is a Found LA Small Business Recovery Grant that is coming back. On the first round, it opens again. This is round 4. It opens on March 15th. So that's this coming Monday at 9 o'clock. It closes on Sunday, the 21st. So you have a week, and this is for brick and mortar businesses only. You have to be in LA County, and you have to have had a profit before the pandemic started. Okay, but I encourage you to apply. They keep bringing this grant back. The grants are $5,000 to $25,000 in size. Then today is the last day for the eBay application for through the state of California. So this is Office of Small Business, and this it's essentially a grant. It's a 6-week free training program for those that need to learn how to do e-commerce and are interested in using eBay as a source for that. I encourage you to apply for this grant. I have not seen that it is closed yet. So, and I don't believe the application is significant. So if you're interested in doing this and will commit to the time, the only thing you have to do is have an eBay account. You do not have to have operated in eBay selling yet. You just have to open the account in order to complete the application. But that closes today, and that's the last day. Then finally, and I call this a cash flow opportunity, is Facebook is offering this through Career Connections. It's a free intern trained intern in marketing and online digital activities. So I encourage you guys to apply for that. And then we had a really great workshop with the experts from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. They did a first workshop for us. So for the next 2 Tuesdays, one is patent basics, the other one is trademark basics. So we want you all to minimize your mistakes in this area. They can be costly. So that's the purpose of these presentations. We have a full list, including the Clearing the Fog. We're doing funding every Wednesday, so you guys can do that if people are launching their businesses, marketing. And then we also have the Restaurant Academy. So tell your other business friends about that, the workshops, in addition to the one-on-one advising. And that is it for me today. I know I ran through a lot of information, but I appreciate you guys being attentive. Please take advantage of the opportunities out there. If you need help, get it. If anybody has, though, a shuttered venue, and if you have not yet applied for the PPP, hold and get some help on that. So you want to evaluate the shuttered venue opportunity versus the PPP. If you have not already done that, and we can assist. So I'll put that into the chat and I'll turn it back over to Gregory and Stephen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Colette.
Thank you, Colette. Appreciate it.
Okay, I heard Crystal Mitchell.
I'm back, guys.
Back, yay.
Hey, I just finished the Urban League has a special. They're making sure that our community is getting their vaccine. So they actually have a invitation link for anyone in our community to get their vaccine. I just finished and I got the J&J this morning. So that's where I was this morning. So I'm all vaccinated.
Hooray.
And don't have to go back after I'm after the 2-week period, which is fine because I'm going out of the country next week. So that's great. But one of the things that's very interesting, and I just have to share this. Yesterday, I knew I have to have a testing before I could leave, before I could fly out of town. So I was driving all over town, trying to get whatever I needed to get to. So one of the things the reason why the Urban League is doing this is because our community is going to be a community that's not going to get what they're going to get. And yesterday I was at Kedron, and I observed that the line had very few people that were Black and brown. And Kedron is in the 90011 zip code. And so it's very imperative, guys, that we take care of our community. I understand we have some fears and some myths, but most important, we need to be here. And so I believe the fears and the myths outweigh the fact that if you get COVID, could devastate your families and our communities, because that's the brain share. So yeah, it's a deep thought, but please think about it and make sure when that time comes that you go take care of it. Very important for us. Robin, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, you know what, guys, Dr. Vicki Mays was on earlier. You know, she was one of our speakers about a couple of weeks ago. She's a scientist, PhD, medical doctor. She does research around medical disparities, and she had to jump off at 11:30. But she also wanted to remind us that, you know, please don't stand in the weeds waiting to see what's going to happen with these vaccines. Push to get it done. And please understand too, when folks are talking about comparing the Pfizer to the Moderna to the J&J, the J&J research was done later than the Moderna and the Pfizer, which means J&J has looked at all of the other new variants that have popped up, right? So when it says that it's so-called 70-something% versus 90-something%, the Pfizer and the Moderna were done early on when we only had one type of COVID-19. Now there are several variants, as they call them. And so when J&J did their research, not only did it include people of color, it also included some of these other variants. So the one-shot deal, as Dr. Mays said, whichever one comes down the pike, whichever one you can get an appointment for, do that. you know, because we got a lot to get done here, you guys. And as you're hearing every week, there's so many resources coming in into our community. If you're willing to do the work, whatever it is you're looking for, you can find, be it contract, certification, opportunity, teaming partners, education, information about a specific sector. You know, the reason why these business briefings are held every week is to inform our community so that you can go out and implement. This is not just information for you to keep to yourself. It is information for you to not only use, but also share. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox now.
And so if anybody's interested, send me your email and I'll send you the link to have it done. I just left, and when I left, there was nobody in line. And I believe they have slots for the rest of the day and tomorrow. This is something that the Urban League has a special arrangement with them and FEMA. FEMA was there this morning. They have the medical staff there. It is so well organized. The only delay that I had was the fact that the facility there at the Sears building right there in the Baldwin Hills Plaza, so it's in our community. They didn't open up early enough for them to set up, and that was the only reason that I didn't get my 9 o'clock appointment. Other than that, they have just taken you through each one of the stations. It's safe, it's clean, and they have an ample number of individuals to help you. So very, very important for you guys to do that. So if you're interested, reach out to me and I'll send you over the link. There is some criteria, but they just want to make sure that we're taken care of. And before we close out, I do want to share, we're doing Recycling Black Dollars is doing a certification workshop, hands-on. Everyone knows Mr. Gilbert Buchanan out there, and that is his life passion. He's also the co-host of the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And so we're having a workshop, free workshop, that's sponsored by Southern California Edison on March 24th, 2021 at 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock. He is actually going to walk you through it. I am going to be sending out assessments so that you can find out what you need in order to be ready, because you do have to have some foundations and of structure in place. But if you guys know Mr. Buchanan, that is his thing. He wants to make sure everyone is certified. And so he's going to be conducting that workshop for us, hands-on, free. I think it's about 2.5 hours. So you should have gotten that. If you got an email from me for notification of this, you would already have the link, but I will send you the information to sign up for it. And the flyer is all over our Facebook pages and our LinkedIn pages. So just so that we can get ready, it's better to be ready than to be getting ready, right? Right. Any other announcements? Miss Bianca is having a fundraiser this weekend. I'm going to participate in the Little Sunshine. Is it the club? Is that what it is, Bianca?
It's a 501c3 foundation. It was started by my 14-year-old daughter. She incorporated in the state of California her own money. And they won Nonprofit of the Year for the city of Glendora last year. And the event is fun. It's bingo and music. It's on Zoom and it's only $25. So littlesunshine.org is where you can get your ticket. Thank you.
Righty. So let's support
Put it in the chat box.
Yes. And the Greater Los Angeles Black Business Resource Guide is very close to being ready. Our developer is online, Mr. Armand. He's excited about it. He's like, who's that? So we're looking for businesses to make sure that all of the Black businesses in the Southern California area is listed in the business. So you guys have been getting links. So if you haven't submitted your link to me, we want to make sure you're there. We are super excited. Armand is working hard. It even has created some employment for some individuals in our community. So we want you in this as a digital platform. Hope you guys can all see it. And this is a collaborative works between Recycling Black Dollars and the Los Angeles Urban League. They're celebrating their 100 years, and RBD is celebrating 33 years in our community. This platform where we are The community business briefing is a collaboration with Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA. I'm all about collaboration. So the only way we're going to make a change in our community if we're all working together for the collective good of the people that live in our community. That's the only way that's going to happen. And we all need our voices, and we all need to work together. And so that's what we're doing. And so I lead by example. I make sure I collaborate with everyone. So Danetta, whatever you need, RBD is here and to help. And anybody else that's in the fold that is following around with me, they're also here to help. So I do know that, and this, I guess it's because I've been working with Gilbert so long, being able to certify your business and do contractual transactions is a lot, is a very lucrative opportunity for our businesses. We just have to get ourselves together. COVID made it very, very clear that we had some big gaping holes in the structure of our business. So let's make sure post-COVID, we are ready to do business with anybody that presents an opportunity for us. And that's my soapbox. So guys, it is 11:57. If make sure you put your information in the chat room. If you want to reach out to anyone, let them know who and what you are with business, because we want to support you. So make sure you put that in the chat, and the 3 little dots next to the file in the chat box, you can actually save that. Please reach out to the people. Just don't put the information out there. Nobody's is sharing and networking with each other. We can't network yet in person, but we can network in these environments. So we highly encourage you to do that. All righty. Anything else, Mr. Stephen, Mr. Greg?
I have one additional thing. It's still important to get testing. So First AME Church is continuing to do testing Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5 and Saturday from 10 to 12. That will be ongoing until the end of June. There is no reservation needed. You just need to have ID required. Or you can also pre-register as well with the link there, and I'll put that in the chat box. Thanks.
Greg, how fast do you get the results back? Do you know?
It's 1 to 3 days.
1 to 3 days. Okay. All right. I have to go get tested tomorrow so I can fly out. Okay. All righty. So anyone else? If not, thank you guys so much. Danetta, thank you so much. Teresa, thank you so much. We so appreciate it. The recording will be going up on Facebook later on this afternoon. So hopefully we'll get some people reaching out to you guys, and I'll put your contact information and some of the links that you've included in the chat there as well. Thank you guys. Stephen, who we have for next week? We on point, guys. We got people lined up into April.
Next week we have Dr. Michelle Turner from USC, who's Assistant Vice President of Procurement. USC is one of the largest employers and have one of the biggest budgets in the county. So make sure that you're open for next Thursday, the 18th, 11 o'clock for the community briefing.
All right, fantastic. And on the Business Zone tomorrow, we have Miss Colette Moore as a guest for the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube at 3:00 p.m. tomorrow. So check it out. We're going to be talking to Colette, not just Colette at PCR. We're just going to get to know Colette. She's an amazing individual. And we want to thank and celebrate all of our amazing women doing Women's History Month, and that will be carried on throughout the entire month. You guys are killing it out there. Thank you. Our community, our children, our everybody depend on you, because you guys truly are the lifeblood of all of us. And so thank you so much, and continue to celebrate yourself. And on behalf of that, make sure you include some self-care in there, because I know as a very busy woman, I sometimes forget to take care of myself. So go get your nails done, go get your brows done, go get your feet done, go shopping. Take some time away just for you.
Have
So
a
you
glass
guys
of wine.
have a glass of wine. What is it? Have brunch on with some friends. Just go out and take care of you. Just drive around the city all by yourself if you have to. So nobody's calling your name. All righty. Have a great week, and we will see you guys next Thursday at 11 a.m. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Excellent show.
Great show. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Stephen and Greg, for holding it down for me and Miss Robin while we were out doing vaccines.
Well, Crystal
Everybody.
and Greg, stay on for a while.
Okay.
Right?
The men holding it down for women's history, right?
Yeah, y'all hanging it down.
Thanks for the invite. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you. All righty.
Yes, ma'am.
So we still have a couple. Have a great weekend, Andre, Samantha, and Tammy. We'll see you guys next week.
They might have walked away from their.
They may have. Let's see. Actually, we can. Yeah, they may have. I'll just remove. She won't be able to join. Okay, so there we go. Oh, what a morning!
Yes.
What a morning!
You got shot up, huh?
I got shot up, so our arm is a little tingly, but other than that, I got it in the left arm, so it didn't affect my right arm. But hopefully that'll be good. So Stephen, you still have to get yours, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Briefly, I just want to chat about some community briefing. It's been on for a minute, and I know that we're trying to move it to another level, kind of give it some type of structure. And one thing is people want kind of share with us the platform that you share with me, Crystal, how we probably can have a paid membership for the attendees, and how can we implement that as well as status of our DBA statement.
Well, the Patreon is, I don't know if you guys follow any of the individuals or anyone on YouTube, and they have, I know Roland Martin has it. So it's a Patreon account, so people can actually individually support low amounts as low as $2, $5, $10, or it could be higher than that. So I want to set up a Patreon account with this so that we can offset some costs. We can do some marketing and advertising, and then also some revenue streams for each one of us as well. So we just want to make sure we legalize everything, and it's an opportunity, and I know for the Business Zone, DGS actually sponsored the Business Zone about 2-3 years ago. So they have those dollars available, and so that way we can get a broader marketplace. We can actually put ourselves on as a podcast on Spotify so that we can get a broader reach, and the message is getting out there further to the communities, to our community. So I think it's a great idea. So some of the things, obviously, we've set up the email address. So now we're going to I'll set up, once we do that, set up a YouTube channel for it, and it has its own page now on Facebook, and it will have its own page on LinkedIn, and we can start marketing it as its own entity, still affiliated and powered by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, but it actually gets to stand on its own, and it will give us a lot more reach and power for what we're trying to do here, if everybody's in agreement with that.
Okay. What do we need to do to set up the Patreon account?
I just need to set it up.
When you do that on the recording, does it insert commercials?
It can on Facebook, on YouTube, but we have to start building up our YouTube channel. You have to have at least over 1,000 people as a subscriber for you even and more than that, to really monetize it through Facebook, but you're monetizing it through Patreon, which is gives you much more control, because the algorithms on YouTube is pretty stringent. But we can use the same platform with Patreon. But we also could do our own advertisements, have built into this conversation that we have, take out 3 seconds or 30 seconds, and maybe advertise DGS or anybody else that wants to be advertised, or they can supply us with a short little video, and we can include that in, break it up for commercials. Right now we just go straight through, but we could do that at the beginning or the end. And they're getting, especially as we're building on our numbers. So our numbers are building, but they're I kind of manually keep control over them. But when we get them on our own YouTube channel, then we can actually all see them and others can see them. But I do have a PR infographic that talks about who and is actually watching, and that's coming through YouTube. I mean, through Facebook right now.
Do we still need a DBA statement?
Yeah, we could do a DBA statement. I think, Stephen, you came up with a logo for it, because right now it doesn't have really an identity of its own. It does, in the sense that, there's marketing materials out there, but other than that, so that's one of the things, just, structuring it just like any other business.
Okay.
And I think if it's gaining revenue, we probably have to register with the city of Los Angeles.
And right, and open up a checking account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so once we do the DBA, we can get the fictitious bank statement. And then if that's what we're doing, then and we all want to continue to carry on with this, then we probably should come up with some sort of partnership agreements as well, and some structure as to what we, I think we kind of know what we're, as far as what messages we're trying to deliver. And we have I think you created a mission statement, didn't you, Stephen?
Yes.
Yeah, and a purpose for why we're here. Then we can go out and reach out. As I said, and I actually I've already spoken to Robert Saucedo. He and I are talking about some stuff, that this channel should be the channel for the community. We should be the media channel for the community, for us to carry on, for them all to be able to come in. And it's not just ours, it's a platform for everyone. And so we can use this as that, because we truly don't have a media outlet for our community. The one thing that
community business
community business. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I thought, and I talked to someone about this years and years ago, during the uprising with Reginald Denny and all of that sort of stuff, I actually always marveled how the Korean community was able to jump into place within seconds of all of that going down. And basically it was because they had their media outlets. They were able to communicate to their communities exactly what needed to be done, how to protect their businesses. And we need that outlet as well. And we need to be in every home.
That's a very, very valid point, because at the end of the day, when they set up these, I had several Korean clients. And I mean, one guy actually told me, well, I'm 7th generation Korean. I said, that's not going to pay back my loan. So when you get through bragging, it pissed me off. But again, it's cooperation. And what I like about the four of us, we know each other. We work really, really well together. And I think that the spirit of cooperation is key, right? And then the other thing that I want to say, I know, I'm really, really, really on my soapbox about this. I'm OD'd on the whole thing of people of color. I just want it to be Black.
Okay.
I want it to be Black, and then everybody else can benefit. Everybody else can come in, but I think at this point right now, we need to make sure we're taking care of Black business owners, the Black community, because all of a sudden, just historically, we're the ones out there with the stripes on our back, and then everybody benefits from it, right? Stephen and I are getting ready to have a meeting with this PNC and BBVA